me they were wizards, but they slit your gizzards too. They plundered arcane mysteries, and all their foes did wail. Beware lest ye encounter a mighty mage of sail.
Bonjour! It is I, Patrick McNamara, your best friend, and the only person who truly understands you. And I am here to put the word fun into storyteller.
Okay. Do you think about these like in the shower?
No, I think about it over the course of the month, but I don't always get one.
But not like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are here to play Mage of Sail, a swashbuckling game of magic and mystery based on Mage the Ascension. I recently approached 4 of my very good friends and asked them each to imagine a wizard with a dark secret and one who doesn't have a dark secret but has powerful enemies. They each agreed, and I am joined by them now. First up, you can't spell Go Tabitha without Goth. As the mysterious and deadly Saoirse, a fortune teller with a dark secret, it's Tabitha Sheehan. Joining her, we have a student of history and arcane mystery, portraying Aura Edmonston, a hermetic mage with a dark secret. It's Holly Conrad! On my left, a woman of unfathomable cosmic power, Lydia Piper, is joining us as Liga, a Verbena witch who does not have a dark secret. Or does she? And last but not least, I don't want to close my eyes, I don't want to fall asleep, because I'll miss you, Dave, and I don't want to miss a thing. Lovely Dave Allen is joining us as Wilhelm, an Ashkayana warrior monk with a dark secret. When we were last united as wizards and friends, we had visited on Blood Island Big Bertha, a lady we were told had some knowledge of spirit world and may be able to help Aura with her spiritual malady. Unfortunately, due to a tattoo-based misunderstanding, she became to be under the impression that Wilhelm was a werewolf who was going to eat her son. However, with a little bit of magic and some sharing of emotions, the issue was solved, and we prepared to go in and eat lunch. Now, you are all having lunch. It is a delightful time, and everyone is enjoying it. There is leg owl stew. There is pummel bunny haunch. There are other weird things because Blood Island is a weird place.
Fair.
And as we open, we see this scene, and then we fade back into the past as Wilhelm tells us his dark secret. 8 months before this delightful dinner, we're on the top of a waterfall in Five Falls, Alaska, so named for its 3 waterfalls and firm belief that further waterfalls were likely to be discovered. Unfortunately, it is not as delightful a scene as I have perhaps set up. In fact, a pitched battle is happening here in the middle of the night between a group of Ashkayana mages and a terrifying hive of black spiral dancers, the most evil of all werewolves. The fight is not going the Ashkayana's way. Indeed, one of them, Arthur MacArthur, is lying prone, being perhaps about to be feasted on by werewolves, and in his last moments turns his very blood into silver in the hope of taking out some of his pursuers. Talia, another Ashkayana monk, has hit a werewolf so hard that he has flown 20 feet in the air, but there are always more werewolves to fight. There is also a man here called Wilhelm, but it's not the Wilhelm that we've come to know and love and sing Aerosmith songs to. It is a different, older, more experienced Wilhelm. He is fighting 4 werewolves at once, and indeed appears to be in 4 different places at once as he fights them. But as he looks across his students who have been charged into his care, he realizes that this fight cannot be won. Our noble Wilhelm, or Finn as he was known at the time, is beset by werewolves. In fact, you are face to face with a slavering werewolf right now. What do you do? is, did Finn attempt to solve this problem purely with martial arts prowess?
I want to do an ability I made up called the Blood Uppercut.
The blood uppercut.
As you do.
Finn prepares the blood uppercut, his specialty technique, perhaps taught to him by Wilhelm himself. And as he fights, he successfully takes out a werewolf in hand-to-hand combat. But then two more are upon him, and they pin him down to the ground. And one says, "We will take this one back to Kirill as a pet. Brand him!" And indeed, as it pushes its claws into his flesh, it leaves a brand there of a black spiral.
Rude.
Wilhelm, the original Wilhelm, sees this as he fights, and he realizes that the death of his apprentices is not the worst possible outcome of this fight. And as the two werewolves pull Finn away, Wilhelm leaps forward, grabs him by the scruff of his robe, knocks the werewolves aside, and flings him from the top of the Five Falls to his apparent death. Now, as we know, Finn did not die. In fact, you found yourselves on the docks several miles away, having been moved there by some kind of arcane trick. And you have in your robe a letter that Wilhelm asked you to read that he had received from the dread pirate Hendrix inviting him to Bones Island. And you hear in your mind, "Get on the ship." And he sees the ship that awaited his master. And a man says to you, "Who are you? What do you want? Are you one of my passengers?"
On your list, you'll find the name Wilhelm, and that's me.
"I have a Wilhelm. All right, get on board. It's going to be a long journey." And indeed, it was a long journey. It was 7 months that you were on that ship. But you later arrived at Bones Island and started the adventure that we continue today. And this is the tale that the man that you have come to know as Wilhelm tells you as you eat this delicious food. Now, each of you has recovered some willpower purely from the excellence of this feast. So take the highest of your composure and resolve and heal that much willpower.
Has our paradox reset as well?
No, Paradox takes a bit longer, I'm afraid. Paradox normally, if you don't do any magic or get any more Paradox, it bleeds off at a rate of about a point a week. So normally, like when we're traveling between islands, that stuff's going to bleed off. Or, of course, Paradox can simply result in a Paradox backlash. And then it all goes, which is nice. Then you're home free. It's perfect.
Like a discharge.
Yeah. It's,
Not that kind of discharge. Like an electric discharge.
So Big Bertha, the mighty werebear of the forest, as you tell this story, she leans out and she puts her tremendous hand on yours. She says, "I'm sorry, son. Werewolves are fucked."
Sure are.
And the Black Spiral Dancers are the worst of all of them. But,
How many others do you know of?
well, I'm going to confess, I don't like werewolves. My people, we call ourselves the Goral. And we were once guys, protectors. Until the werewolves instituted a war against us. Well, they call it a war, the War of the Rage. It was really a pogrom. And they hunted all the other changing breeds almost to extinction, or to what they believe was extinction. Some of us were able to find these islands, and that's why there are so many of the changing breeds here. But as far as we know, no werewolf has ever found their way onto the Unconquered Isles. Something about their drive to dominate and conquer makes them unable to get past the Traitor's Sea. I would suspect that that brand may indeed be a way of tracking you, but I've never known a werewolf get to these isles.
Do you think it gets its signal blocked here?
It could be. Or perhaps they know where you are, but they have no idea how to get here.
So, Laura's in the middle of like eating a sandwich. There's like a sand. So, what are we supposed to call you? Finn or Wilhelm? Which do you prefer? I don't want to be rude.
To me,
Sandwich.
Finn died that day at the top of the waterfall.
I mean, you just.
I would prefer Wilhelm.
How long were you airborne? Like a good.
A long time.
All right. Well, it's, Wilhelm it is then.
Thank you.
Sandwich.
Indeed. I can only imagine that when someone tells you their dark history where they were nearly killed by a pack of werewolves, even if you're all having fun and previously part of you just like, that's a lot of stuff.
The whole sandwich.
Yeah. So you don't have to talk.
You can hear everybody chewing.
Yeah.
Everybody chewing.
But Bertha also tells you that werewolves who ran that pogrom, who attempted to exterminate all of the changing breeds, those are the nicer of the werewolves. Those are the werewolves that you can play as player characters. The truly bad werewolves are the Black Spiral Dancers, and there is nothing good in them at all. They have undertaken a dark ritual that takes all of their sanity and all the goodness that was left in them. And Big Bertha says, that's why I freaked out a little when I saw the Black Spiral tattoo.
I'll say.
That's fair.
I fought them before. And to think that one of them was near my children, Wilhelm, or my child, it was too much. But I hope you'll forgive me for what happened. Now,
I understand.
the plan for tomorrow is we want to find out a little bit more about this spirit, this music that is troubling Aura so much. So I'd like to go up to my cave that I have, because, you know, Bear, it's a very special, spiritually powerful place. We're going to do a ritual where we can find out a little bit more about this creature and the ways that we might possibly combat it.
We're all so busy. I mean, they don't have to. It's just, you know, I wasn't thrown off a cliff or anything.
We've had a lot of backstory for today.
Yeah, it's time for some front story.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Carpe the day.
So if you all agree, we'll go there tomorrow. Now, my role on the islands, I've come to see myself as a protector of the land a little bit, and it does need protectors. Since the colonists arrived, the island has been throwing up creatures that are wrong, like that don't fit into the ecosystem, that devour and destroy, and some of them are pretty fucked.
Okay.
So I have considered myself a kind of jailer. I take these creatures and I return them to a great pit, and they're kept there by what remains of my spiritual energy. As we do this ritual, that protection may fade. So I want you to be ready for the idea that you will have to protect me from whatever strange creatures arise from this pit. Are we agreed? Does everyone like my plan?
How close is this pit?
Oh, it's not very far at all. It's
Okay.
about half
It's a
an hour's
local pit.
walk.
Why don't you just kill them? Why do you keep them captive if they're so dangerous?
Because if I kill them, a new creature emerges.
Okay, that makes sense.
And if I keep them captive, it seems like the corruption considers that to count. I don't know what's causing the corruption, but as with everything that starts going wrong on Blood Island, it started happening when the colonists arrived.
So if they're going to attack you, possibly, or we have to protect you, we shouldn't kill them to protect you because more will just come?
Let me worry about that. You do what you have to do. If it's going,
It's like a boss fight where you have to protect the person doing the ritual.
And how are you keeping them in the pit? Like, what? You say magic, but like, is it just like a barrier? Like,
it's a mystical barrier. It's a ritual that I take place every year to keep the protections of the pits. Lord knows what they're doing down there, but they're surviving.
Oh, we could set up some traps before we start, maybe?
Absolutely.
That might be
Anything you'd like
smart.
to do.
Will I be indisposed? will I be able to help?
Oh, you'd be able to help, absolutely.
Oh, okay. If I'm part of this, I mean, are you going to
both
stab
parts,
me?
So
Both parts be able to help. Like if it gets like real bad.
Bertha acts as though you're joking when you say that, and hopes that you're not. Hopes that you are. Sorry.
Takes a big drink.
But yeah, any preparations you want to make, you'll be perfectly fine. The ritual involves me, so what I need is information. So I'm going to find a spirit, a Bane specifically, that knows the information I need. I'm just going to kick the shit out of it until it tells me what I want to know. And through that process, we will garner a mutual respect for each other. So that's the plan. No blood sacrifice, nothing like that.
Oh, I feel like if it's attached to me, maybe there might be a problem. I could lose, cognizance.
I think you'll be okay, Aura. Don't let the music out if you can help it. That is a solid ground rule in general.
That's fair. I might need a hug or something. I don't know. I'm just a little scared.
Oh, well, careful. You'll attract a flutterglump. But I've said too much.
Okay.
And everyone on the island who's from Blood Island laughs uproariously and then says, "Ha ha, no need to explain to them what a flutterglump is. They'll know it when they see one."
We're all very confused.
Or
So-
just hides her hands in her armpits, no hugs.
Do you want a hug from Big Bertha? Because she'll give
Not
you
anymore.
one. No.
Whatever the fluffalump or whatever.
Everyone laughed at me, so now I'm mad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not my intention.
Remind me again. There's Bigger Paul and Biggest Paul?
So Big Paul
Yeah. We know Big Paul.
is your friend and a member of your crew.
Yes.
His brother, Big Terry,
Oh, Big Terry.
is younger than him, but slightly bigger than him. His mother, Big Bertha, is bigger even than Big Terry. The biggest member of the family is the father, Biggest Terry, who's a very large man indeed. He's a very big and jolly man. But now he says, we've had potentially enough food. I don't know if there is such a thing. We've had enough terrible mystical backstories. Let's all head off to bed, because we'll have to go up bright and early tomorrow to head to the cave. And you're each shown to there are 2 spare rooms, so you gotta share, but that's fine. This is a family that normally only has 3 people in it. And does anyone have anything specific that they want to do before you all get a good night's sleep?
I secretly want to see what might happen.
Oh, you want to look forward?
A little bit.
Okay. Once you have a little bit of time to yourself, you pull out your sketch pad.
Yeah.
And you begin drawing what you think will happen.
Right.
Which is a coincidental effect. As far as anyone's concerned, all you're doing is writing something down on a pad. So that's going to be 5 dice.
All right.
Include any persistent paradox you have.
1.
And you're just looking one day in the future.
Yeah,
so
just
you
for
should
the
be
ritual,
fine.
yeah. 2 success.
2 successes. So here's what you see.
Okay.
It's a pretty good drawing. You see a great tree surrounded by this tree is, for whatever reason, is inside a giant cave, and then the tree is looking up through the center of it. Okay. Around the tree is just a pit, and there's no obvious bottom to it.
Yikes.
The 4 of you are there,
Okay.
as is Big Bertha, she is lying still, and you see a creature clawing its way up from the pit.
Gross.
It is huge. It is about, it looks like it probably weighs about 350 pounds.
Okay.
You can't see too many details of it, but it looks like a kind of spiked snail slug creature, possibly called a slail.
Okay. Okay. Does it move fast?
You can't tell.
It's just a picture.
If you wanted this to be a moving picture, you're going to have to do it at least 30 times and then put the different
Flip it.
frames together and flip it.
Yeah, no,
1 second at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the moment, you just have the drawing of, say, Bertha lying still,
Okay.
and the 4
Well,
of you.
everything's still.
Yeah.
Realistically, in
Everything's
this
still.
photo.
Yeah, you can't think, but she seems fine.
How are we standing, like, relative to Bertha?
You are standing in kind of a protective way.
Okay.
Your surrounding. And what you know of time magic, specifically looking to the future, is this is all changeable.
Yes.
It kind of depends, but that's what you see.
That's a snapshot.
Yeah.
Of potentially what could happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else they want to do? Now, Liga, you may in fact have to redo your oldness spell.
Oh, yes, I do.
A geriatric spell.
Yeah. So do you want to go ahead and do that now? This is coincidental because you're on Blood Island. So this, for anyone who can't remember, is that Liga is merely pretending to be an old lady. She's in fact about 23.
I am an old lady in my heart.
A lot of like Zoomers are like, I'm such an old lady, I'm 23, and they don't understand. They don't understand the wrath that they invite by saying such a thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how long do you want this to last for? Because the more dice you include, the longer the spell is going to last.
I would like this to last a while.
Okay, so you can swap paradox dice or successes over margin is what adds power to the spell. So if you get 3 successes, that takes you up 1. If you included 4 paradox dice, it will work for an arbitrary length of time until I decide it would be funny to make you roll again, but that's a long time. Or you can just see how many successes you get over margin.
I'm going to we'll see how many successes I get.
Ooh. 2 bads and 1 good.
2 bads and 1 good.
What does that mean?
So thankfully this isn't a complete botch, but that isn't a success either. So the spell at this point, like, can I tell you how I imagine the spell going?
Yeah.
Is that what Lee actually does for this is sort of do like a beauty routine. And puts all of her different like masks on and all of this stuff just to make her look like older.
That scene in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she's just like putting on her old lady face by putting on oils and unguents and creams and all kinds of things. But I don't know if you got the order of them wrong or if the ingredients weren't right. But at the moment, you are getting younger noticeably.
I just like cake on a mask.
Suddenly you're a fetus.
But like a thick mask so that like I found a new wrinkle cream and I just have to like douse my face in it for a full...
Trust me, I'm gonna look great.
A shawl that can
This
help.
is really gonna work.
Well, the cream is on and then I'll also put on a shawl as well. Like do like what like the queen does or like any grandmother where I have it around my face and just like I'm old.
I'm old. I'm like,
I feel like Aura's just like getting ready for bed and like a little nightcap and everything, and it's just like sees this walk by. It's like,
It's my wrinkle cream. This is my...
does it smell like bacon?
Yeah, Lord knows what's in it. This is definitely all stuff that you found in the woods. Like, there's no way that
Like
this is off the
bacon fat.
counter
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, just like picture like bacon fat.
gristle
Like,
and-
But imagine you got like some leg owls, like drippings from the pan that lunch was great.
Aura's like, okay.
It's great for moisturizing. It just...
beauty is pain.
I just want to note that Wilhelm is kind of all about self-discipline whenever he can. And so he decides to plank until he falls asleep.
Perfect. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
eventually,
just like I do.
mind and body exhausted at the same time. It's the best sleep you'll ever get, but
Yeah.
it does suck a lot.
Can Aura like also see that and be like, oh, just,
Yeah, for sure.
like set a cup on you?
It's not going to disturb me. Yeah.
Aurora's like she's got her feet up on
Yeah. It's like reading. Like,
You see, like up like this, and you kind of hear snoring.
Can you give me a resolve and athletics roll?
Sure. What does that mean? It's been a while
So
since I played this
add
video
up-
game.
Add up your resolve and your, which is an attribute, and your skill, which is athletics.
I'm like exhausted
Thank
thinking
you.
about
Thanks.
this.
I'm
I love
looking
this
for-
Dice.
idea
Wow,
that
okay.
everyone's just doing all this shady shit and Aura's just like experiencing it and then going to bed.
All right. I got 3 successes and 2 skulls on them.
Okay, so that's great. Yeah,
That is great.
You successfully. Not only do you do this, you plank until you fall asleep.
Yeah.
that was the real success. but also you look cool while you're doing it, and it takes you a long enough time to fall asleep that anyone looking might look at you and just go, "That seems like it's probably really difficult to do."
Yeah.
Yeah. So you succeeded enough that it was cool.
I put a blanket.
Yeah. That's very cool.
I appreciate that this morning.
You can like dress him up as a little pillow fort.
Yeah.
Like just build one
Yeah,
around.
just
Somebody
put
could get
like
under.
a blanket
Yeah.
and pillows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aura, you awaken first.
Oh.
You're standing, in fact, as you
What?
awake.
I'm standing up.
Yeah.
That's not
Over-
creepy at all.
You are standing up over the body
Oh.
of Big Bertha,
No, I'm dreaming.
who has had her throat cut.
I'm dreaming.
And as you look at Liga's knife, which you are holding in your
I'm-
right hand,
No, it's not my hand.
you feel a rush of occult knowledge as the music, in return for this service,
No, I didn't do that. No.
unlocks incredible occult potential. And then you wake up.
I'm just like
I was holding my breath the entire time.
I just like I didn't do that. Oh.
And the music simply presents this to you as an offer. Oh, yes.
Aura, I can teach you such secrets, but the Great Bear must die.
Did it feel? How did the secrets feel? Like how good did they feel?
They were pretty good. They were. You got the impression that you're no slouch in
Yeah.
the occult. This would take you to like one of the greatest occult experts, because the music knows weird spirit shit that no one knows. You also awaken while you are lying down and nothing sinister is happening. You do have Liga's knife in your hand.
Ah! They heard the scream. I was like, ah!
So that deal is to do with yours as you will. I don't know if you're going to get back to sleep again after that.
No, I'm awake now. Are we all in the same room?
So I kind of think there are two rooms. I'm going
Okay.
to say that you and Wilhelm together, and that
Okay.
you and Saoirse are
Is
together.
Wilhelm still planking while asleep?
Yeah, he's snoring
I'm honk
lightly.
shoeing really hard.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like, looking firm.
Yeah.
I'm just like, still cool.
Yeah, it's very cool stuff.
I don't know how I got the knife at all,
Yeah.
so I'm going to put it on my person.
Okay.
Not so that Wilhelm doesn't see that I have it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how I got it. Hard to explain. And I'm going to tell the music, please wait until I've showered. Usually you wait until I shower. I just would like to shower. I would like to clean myself, and then you can continue to talk to me in your weird, spooky voice.
But, Aura, the bear is asleep now. It's the perfect time to strike.
I don't make decisions before I shower.
And then you just hear the actual music, the strange screeching noise.
This is why I don't make decisions before I shower. And I'll just go outside and like find a stream or whatever, because I'm guessing the bears don't have a shower.
No, so here's what I'm imagining is that they have they certainly have a well nearby
Sure.
with a lot of buckets, and the buckets are thrown onto people as a cleaning method.
Yeah, well, that's what Aura was gonna do after
Okay.
just like really like not as a like academic like proper person would do. She just walks outside, just like just like bucket after bucket, like in her nightgown, just like bucket.
Just
Just,
doesn't
like-
think about what the best method for washing would be. Just like,
No,
all
yeah,
right, cold shower time.
You could just tell that this is just a reaction to whatever the music was trying to do to her, and her being like, maybe that's a good idea, not a good idea, not a good idea. She's even saying, not a good idea,
Yeah.
not a good idea, just throwing buckets on herself outside
Okay.
until someone stops her.
So Bertha actually eventually stops you. You're there for a while, but she wakes up pretty early and she says, she walks out and goes, "Oh, you're an early riser too, I see, Aura."
No, the music, which I'm ignoring still, wanted me to kill you.
I see.
Gave me quite the fright. Don't know how I got this.
Oh,
And I give it to her.
okay. Bertha takes it.
Yeah, just knowing that it is not happy, whatever you feel like doing, it is not happy.
Well, it strikes me, Aura. Thank you for not cutting my throat while I sleep, by the way.
I thought
appreciate
about
the
it.
trust.
I thought about it, and that's why I'm out here. Just dumping water on myself continuously until those thoughts go away. Clean mind, clean soul. Clean. It's just like, clean.
I suspect, Aura, that the fact that the music is so worried about this ritual might mean that we're on the right track.
I'd like to think that. I'm glad that you didn't die as well.
Yeah, me too. That would have been really a bad time and place to die for me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Would you like to get on this water? Do you want clean?
Sure. And she just starts copying what you did
Clean.
in order to make you feel better.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And then she says, "Come on, let's wake everyone up and see if we can
All right.
see if we can get to the cave by sunrise." It's
I-
like 4 o'clock in the morning right now. Like,
I will scamper into the room with Wilhelm, soaking wet, and just be like, "Time to get up!" Water spraying everywhere.
Yeah. I'm awake. And a little moist on the edges.
yeah. Well, you've probably been sweating all night from those planks.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It mixed.
So you awakened, Wilhelm, to find that a pillow fort has been built around you. So you're now kind of
Cozy.
like even more indoors than you were before.
Yeah.
Liga and Saoirse, you also hear Bertha comes in and goes, "Hello everyone, we're going to go and do the ritual. Does anyone want any breakfast or anything like that? We don't have a tremendous amount of time, but I'm sure you could eat some legal haunch or something as we go."
I mean, a snack would be good, probably.
That would be good. Okay,
Magic on an empty stomach isn't really a good thing.
Do you have breakfast stuff?
I also
Need
tell
milk.
Bertha that that's Liga's knife.
Liga, I'm sorry. I borrowed your knife. Is that okay? Mine were blunt and yours looked cool, so I just needed to do some carving with it. I really apologize. I sense I've troubled you.
Did you go through my satchel?
I'm so... And she just... so I'm going to roll now
Oh my god!
for Bertha, who has... What does she have? She has a 1 in manipulation.
Oh my god!
It makes them roll.
I
It's
like
so good.
clutch the stat. My bag
you-
of trash
Can you
things.
roll me your wits plus insight?
My wits plus insight.
Also, do I
She did-
smell
actually, she
bacon?
did pretty well.
3 successes.
Okay, so Bertha actually crit.
Oh, never mind.
So for the first time in her life, she tells a good lie. She apologized and she said, I'm so sorry, Liga. I'm so nervous about the ritual, and I blunted one of my knives, and I went through your things in order to try and, because you mentioned that you had a knife yesterday, and I used it, and I apologize. That's your possession and those are your things, and I shouldn't have done it. I'm very sorry.
You didn't move anything around, did you? And I look at my bag.
It looks roughly how you left it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure the knife teleported, but it's
Yeah.
Gotta keep my salves in order.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, by the way, you look great. That mask you put on, it's really working. You look, I don't know, you look 15 years younger.
Bertha, I have a question.
Oh, of course.
Is there like a snail that might have spikes or anything on this island?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I fought one of those.
Like what's the deal?
What's its deal?
Yeah,
So it's got bad vibes.
yeah. I can see that happening. Yes.
I don't name all of these. I guess a cool name for it would probably be Slail.
Okay.
Kind of like a slug,
Yeah.
kind of like a snail.
Right.
Tries to slay things.
Yeah. Is it like it's one of the bad ones?
Oh, that's one of the bad ones. Yeah. Did you have a vision or?
You could say that. Yeah, a little bit of vision. Yeah.
Well, what do I know about them? They're not too bad. You know, I fought worse. Mm-hmm. They did. They'll try and hurt you physically
Should we bring some salt?
their bodies.
Should we bring salt?
We
with
could
us?
try salt. I didn't try salt. They do a thing where they will open a mouth on your neck and scream a terrible secret at you using your own voice.
Oh.
So that can be unnerving.
Yeah.
But physically, not too bad.
Wait, so the mouth opens, say, for example,
Oh, it opened on my neck. Yeah, just a kind of new mouth grew, and it screamed at me that I could never protect my family, and one day they would die before me.
Well, what if we just tie
Gross.
ropes around our necks? Then nothing will be able to
Oh
scream.
yeah, perfect. You could wear scarves or something.
Or a turtleneck.
I wish I'd thought of that.
I'm gonna make a special tea for this to bring.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's for me, but I'm just gonna have this just in case.
Okay. Is this a magical tea you're doing in effect?
It is a magical tea.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna take some of the. Is there any like bog water anywhere?
Oh yeah, for sure. You'll have had the opportunity to take some bog water on your way. I'm going to go ahead and say that you've probably just been picking stuff up as you go. So, within reason, any reagents you need, you probably have.
All right. Well, bog water, and I'm gonna add some of the stuff I've been collecting, and I'm gonna make it some sulfuric acid.
You're trying to make sulfuric acid.
salt acid.
That's interesting. Yeah. So you want to make you're trying to make this tea into an acid that you can throw on a creature, right?
That or drink. Who knows?
Or drink, yeah, depending on if the fight goes that badly, depending on how terrible the terrible truth that your neck screams at you is. Yeah, go ahead and roll me your, that's going to be 5 dice. This is, how strong do you want this acid to be is the question. The more paradox dice you include, or the more successes you get over margin, the stronger this will be.
I'm gonna do one.
Okay,
Use
so you're going to add a paradox dice,
Yeah.
and then we'll see how it gets.
Boop boop boop. Paradox. Don't this up. Oh, cool.
What'd you get?
I got 2.
2 successes. Okay, so write down that this is, that you have this acid tea,
Okay.
and it's and write a +3 next to it because I won't remember.
Okay.
Anyone else have any preparatory effects they want to do?
I would love to know the recipe of the pummel bunny stew.
Okay,
Yeah.
so well, firstly you need some pummel bunny
Okay.
for sure, and that can be quite an experience catching a pummel bunny. As I'm sure, do they have pummel bunnies where you come from?
All over.
Okay, so they're okay. I won't
I'm
describe.
familiar with
I
that
won't
part.
describe
What's
one
the
for
other?
you.
What goes in the broth?
And she explains the kind of broth recipe for you, but every plant she says is a Blood Island plant that you've never heard of.
Okay.
But they're all things like, they'll have names like green plant. Like green plant with snow leaves. And like very, very kind of basic descriptive names. There's no like, oh, well, that's Levitius levitii or something like that. It's all just like, yeah. Then you put in some, you put in some crushed up red plant with wheelbarrow-shaped leaves. And then she goes through the entire recipe and explains it to you.
Does it seem high in sodium is mostly what I'm after?
Oh, you thinking about salt?
I am just...
I mean, we have salt.
Okay.
If you want to try some of that.
That would work
Okay.
instead.
So she gives you a big thing of salt.
Okay. I want to make sure we have that.
Yes.
Yeah. And like this is like a container of salt rather than just giving you a shaker so you can be like,
I'm thinking because I have sigil craft.
Mm-hmm.
Could I make a trap out of a sigil? Like a
yes. So you also have forces and prime.
right.
A lot of ward stuff is actually very, very high level, which is one of the strange things about this. But what you could do, I would suggest, is so at the moment with your forces, you can manipulate anything that is already there. So perhaps when you get to the cave, set up an environment where you have a lot of forces to use.
So set up make sure there's fire.
Yeah.
Make sure there'd be some salt water, maybe.
Yeah, you can bring some water with you. You're nowhere near the sea, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you do have someone with you who can just make salt water out of
Yeah.
normal
So I'll just
water.
take a jar of salt water
Okay.
and a torch.
Okay.
That seems like good enough.
Tabby, if you have anything you want to do, you have already provided us with the information about what you're going to be fighting.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything that I could prepare ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just the 5 of you. The family don't come up to Big Bertha's cave / home / jail. And it's only about half an hour, 45-minute hike And as you get there, it's quite a thing to see. It is a very large cave. This is not like, especially by bear standards, this is a pretty sick cave. It's a large circular cavern, and it's extremely similar to what you saw in your drawing. It's built around a pit that is too deep to see the bottom of.
Okay.
And as you walk in, Bertha lights 4 great braziers at each corner of the room.
Just throw my torch on the ground. And watch.
And she explains to you, this is actually me and my family come and live here in the winter because, you know, I hibernate. And they watch over me, and if anything looks like it's coming out of the pit, you know, they wake me up and I fuck it up. So this is a pretty important place for me. You can also see that there are vines and plant life all across the cave, everywhere. It's surrounded by them. A lot of the plant life on Blood Island is not green. There's purples and reds and all kinds of different plant life. As the braziers light, you see on the cave walls that Bertha has carved the names and images of great guardians of her people.
Oh.
Perhaps she hopes that she will be one of them someday. So, does anyone have anything they want to do in the cave?
I have a question. If there's any sunlight that can enter the cave, and that's how the plants are alive?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a hole in the top of the cavern where sunlight comes through.
When you look at the plants and look at like the structure of them, is there anything obvious that makes it different colors, or is it? If you're looking into them magically, are they just normal plants?
So yeah, these are just if you turn your life vision on, you can see that these are not magical plants. Some of them seem like they might be impossible plants, but they are in line with the kind of strange vegetation that you've seen all over Blood Island. It seems to be like part of this place's vibe is weird life.
I'm interested in sensing life in the pit.
Okay.
And trying to determine the number of potential entities down yonder.
You look down into the pit with your life sensors. You can see there is a lot of stuff down there. It's very, very far down. But you can see almost like a swirling mass of life, and these creatures clawing to get over each other and get purchased somehow in the hope of clawing their way out of the pit. Near the top of the pit, testing the spiritual boundaries of it, you can see these creatures that look like they may be slails.
All right.
So you would suspect that, based on the information you have in Circe's prophecy, that they are probably in a position where they will be able to take advantage of any drop in the barrier. Most stuff either can't climb, as the slails can, or is just busying itself with being a monster at the bottom of the pit. These are the only 2 creatures who look like they might imminently come out if given an opportunity. And they're kind of sliming along the walls.
I would like to transmutate a glass lid over it so that if any of them break through, they get covered in glass shards.
That is interesting, and that is big magic. Because it's such a big pit, I think you would need to, like, let's say you had a bunch of cardboard. You could cover the whole pit in cardboard and then change it into something else. But at the moment, because you can't change air into a solid substance,
That's fair.
I don't think that putting a physical barrier over the pit will work.
Give me that salt. I go around and pour it all around the circle.
Okay, great.
That's a good start. Yeah, that was smart.
Bertha says, if you're quite ready, we can begin the ritual as the sun rises. It's not really relevant that the sun is rising. It's just like, it's a cool time to do rituals, you know?
Yeah.
You want to do them at dawn.
Get some
I'm
good
sorry, I
light.
guess we could have laid in, but, you know.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my weapons,
Okay.
not to Bertha, because I feel like she's gonna have a whole thing. I'm like, which one of you is trustworthy to hold all of these? Just take them. Which
Yeah.
one do you...
So the weapons you have on you,
I have my gun.
you have your gun, and you have a large pair of scissors
Yeah.
that you use for prime magic.
Yeah, but I don't want to have those. I don't want to have the gun on me. I'll keep the scissors, like, whatever, to do. If I'm going to do magic, that'll be fine. But I just don't want the gun on me.
Okay.
because I'm afraid if the music takes over, the music will use the gun to shoot Bertha. And it's
Yeah.
a very easy thing to use. So,
Whereas if it's using the scissors, it's going to have to get through someone probably to get to Bertha.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Wilhelm, I saw you plank for like 7 hours, so you can you hold this for me. And she hands you her fancy gun.
Okay. I don't know how to use it. But
Good. That's perfect. Even better. Just hide it on your person. Because I don't want to have it just in case. I know everything should be fine, but from my experience, it's not a good experience to lose control with a gun.
Okay.
Firearm, if you will.
Have we reached the end of our investigations phase and are beginning to begin the ritual?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So, firstly, Bertha sits you all down and says, I want you to all swear an oath to me that you will not reveal the location of this cave to anyone.
I don't even remember where we are, so
Oh,
that's
perfect.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Then we can begin. And it's such a small thing that she does, but she puts out some tokens around her, and it seems to you that it's things that remind her of her family. She puts out a drawing. It looks like a child might have done it, and a small wooden toy. And she puts these things out in front of them, and then she lays down as though she's going to go to sleep. And then she's just still. And you feel, because you're all attuned somewhat to the energies of these places, that part of her protection over this pit is gone. And screams of rage start to come up through the pit. Thankfully, most of them are too far down to really do anything about it. But these two monstrous snails begin to crawl their way up.
2 of them.
Yeah,
Gross.
there's 2 of them.
But my picture. No.
Yeah, so one of the things that you saw there is pretty similar to what you saw in your picture, but they're a lot grosser when you're actually looking at them and not looking at them through your sort of strange life senses. They also appear to have some, like the snail shell is offering them some kind of armor. It's very spiky. You can't immediately see how it would attack someone, but you would guess that it's probably vile. And as they stare at you, we will burden our souls with the secrets of what it will do next. Next time on Mage of Sail, where we're going to have a fight. We haven't had a combat yet, but we're going to have a combat, and it's going to involve weird snails. Thank you very much for watching. If you are on Patreon, you can probably watch the next episode immediately, but if not, we will be back next week for another episode of Mage of Sail.
You almost Chris Perkins me there.